Welcome to the Education Innovators Podcast. I'm Eric Byron. This is season 4, and it is my privilege to host this show where I get to talk with thought leaders and experts from all over the world. We're going to hear amazing stories of innovation in education from teachers, consultants, and AI experts and others who are fearlessly innovating and creating unique active learning experiences. I'm so glad you're here. Let's get started.
And then before they start playing, we have something I think that's quite interesting called the window shopping phase. And it's a tool we use to kind of teach kids and let them experience for themselves impulse control and research planning. Because during that period of time, they are free to roam around and look around at all the different booths that are set up. But the shops are not open yet. They cannot play.
Try to imagine 200 10 to 12-year-olds running around in a gymnasium playing a game to earn badges for learning principles of financial literacy, and they're having a blast. Priscilla Cheung is with us to share the story of how she helped design and develop this game that has now been played by 5,000 to 10,000 students in over 50 schools here in Hong Kong. Now, our conversation isn't so much about the game as it is about the process of designing and iterating on a game-based learning experience. Keep listening. This is so much fun. All right. Welcome to the Education Innovators Podcast. I'm Eric Byron, and today I have with me Priscilla Cheung. And Priscilla is currently helping to lead AI and digital innovation at CoCoon Foundation. They're an NGO that teaches entrepreneurial thinking as a life skill to youths in Hong Kong. Her journey into educational game design began years ago with her computer science master's thesis at MIT, where she developed an augmented reality game for high school students called Charles River City. After a decade-long career as an equity derivatives trader, Priscilla felt a calling for a more meaningful path, one where she could use her creative and technical skills to make a greater impact. So Priscilla was the key designer on the team behind a game called the Marketplace Money Dash, which is part of an initiative of the Hong Kong Jockey Club financial education program. So she helped create an engaging experiential learning game for primary school students teaching financial literacy in a practical and fun way. The game allows a safe space for students to practice making good decisions, develop the right attitudes, and build financial responsible behaviors, all while learning about budgeting, saving, and resisting external pressures. And the game is framed around a curriculum involving 10 lessons. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Yeah. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, this is great. I mean, you kind of had me at games, right? As soon as we start talking about games and education, I'm kind of all in, interested. Of course, we have met, right? Before we met through our common friend, Fred.
Yes.
And yes, he introduced us because he knew that I do the show and you had been doing some learning games. And so we had a conversation previously. You told me a bit of the story. I love it, and I want to share it with my audience. So thank you for coming on the show, and let's talk a little bit. But before we get going, I'm a little confused with your background. So you're from Hong Kong, right?
Yes.
But you went to MIT in Massachusetts, which happens to be where I grew up, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And you got both a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in computer science and engineering, right? And then you did this game, right? The AR game as part of your thesis. But then you went off and did this equity derivatives trader thing for like 10 years, including a year in Japan, as I recall. So how did you go from this MIT experience to being a trader?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think like a lot of young people, you don't really know what you want to do when you first graduate. And it just so happened that after I graduated from MIT, I went back to Hong Kong, and Hong Kong being like a big financial city. So I my first job ended up being working in the finance industry. And I actually spent initially about 3 years in Japan, where I kind of got into the industry, started out working as a junior trader, worked in the Japan market. And then when I had the opportunity to move back to Hong Kong, I relocated back to Hong Kong and where I worked at Citibank and then RBC, Royal Bank of Canada, for a few years as an equity derivatives trader. And that's kind of my career so far in the finance world. But I mean, throughout my career, I've always been just really interested in keeping up with the latest technology and innovations. And I feel like in the finance world, most of the day it's spent in the office, pretty much tied to the desk. You can't leave it, especially when the market is open. And I just feel disconnected from the world. So around 2022, I had the opportunity kind of just actually reevaluate what I want to do with my career, because my company decided to relocate from Hong Kong to Singapore. And I thought, this could be a chance for me to think about what I really want to do, since I didn't want to move to Singapore. My family's here in Hong Kong.
Mhm.
And so I took that as an opportunity kind of to try something new, try something different. And that's how I ended up at CoCoon Foundation and doing what I'm currently doing.
Awesome. So, so there's kind of two organizations involved here. There's Cocoon Foundation, and then there's the Hong Kong Jockey Club. So you were already at Cocoon when you heard about the project from the Jockey Club? The is that
Yeah, no,
right?
yes. So I joined CoCoon Foundation, and this project, it's a project funded by the Hong Kong Jockey Club Charities Trust. And they brought in several different partners because they're trying to transform financial education in Hong Kong and in a holistic way. So they brought in partners from University of Chicago Financial Education Initiative who helped write the curriculum. And then there's also the Education University of Hong Kong, who helped to localize that curriculum as well as to help with the teachers' professional developments and training.
Hmm.
And then we also work with another partner, the Hong Kong Family Welfare Society, who is responsible for the parents' outreach and education. And where we come in is for the student engagement part. We want to take the curriculum and try to create an experiential learning activity to bring that curriculum into a simulated environment where students can have fun and apply what they've learned in the classroom.
Oh, I love this. So, well, and I love it from multiple angles because first of all, you have all these different kind of interested parties collaborating. And
Yes.
that's always powerful, right? So you've got, Cocoon, you've got the Jockey Club, you've got, did you say University of Chicago? Was it
Right.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, and some other organizations, here in Hong Kong, all getting involved in kind of putting together the curriculum. So that's that 10 lesson plan
Yes.
curriculum, right? The kind of the framework with learning objectives and stuff for this thing, right? So that's awesome. But then you decided to do a game. So tell me about that. And you became kind of a lead designer on this game. So, I'm really interested in the process, right? So this all started back a couple of years ago, it sounds like. And so
Mhm.
this kind of idea was blossomed on, we're going to teach kids more financial literacy. And then who decided to do a game,
I think it started out as like a marketplace activity. So it could
right?
have been like a school fair kind of thing where students can be merchants, and then you have some students who are the consumers. But as we were going through the design process, so we one of our goals is to make it fun. So of course games are fun and we all like games. And so we try to started approaching it that way from the approach of designing a game.
So, well, the game is called Money Market Dash, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so tell me about the game, kind of the mechanics. What are the kids doing when they play the game?
Oh, okay. Actually, I could go back a little. So part of the
Okay.
design process, we were thinking of what, students these days like, and of course, they love video games. And while we were trying to brainstorm ideas, one of the colleagues brought in the Wii console and we started playing games ourselves. And we really liked, and that gave us the inspiration to create a game where we have a storyline and character. And so the students can relate to it in that way. And so we went through several different iterations until we tried to have a family of where two kids are trying to plan for a camping trip. And we did several iterations until where we've ended up deciding on the story being a boy who has to help prepare for a birthday party for his cousin. And so he's given a budget of $500 and he has to basically prepare for the upcoming birthday party by purchasing everything you need for a party, as well as spending that money wisely, setting aside some of the extra money for saving. I could also share some of it to others that need help. So I could describe more about that in the game later. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it went through some iterations and some discussion. How were design decisions made? I mean, did you guys just kind of meet regularly? Who was involved in those conversations?
There were several factors. There were some constraints we have to work with, a lot of the logistics, because we have to think about the logistical constraints,
Yeah.
working with primary school. So the game is targeted for primary 4 to 6 students of local Hong Kong public schools. So we imagine it's a full auditorium will be transformed into a simulated marketplace. So we have to think about a game that could accommodate between 30 to 40 students all the way up to about 200 students. The resources that we will need, how to set up, and then the time constraints. We will have to run it. It takes about 2 hours from start to finish. So these are some of the considerations that we have to take into account.
Okay. So just in case somebody's not familiar with the primary 4 to 6, what age range is that?
It's about 10 to 12, roughly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Just want to make sure
Um,
everybody pictures that, right? 200
yeah.
10 or 11-year-olds running around in
Yeah.
an auditorium sounds like chaos.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, we have to think about, I mean, even though we group them collectively and call it upper primary students, but actually the levels between fourth grader and the sixth grader can be quite different as well. So we want to make sure it's accessible for the different grades, but also complex enough for somebody who's more advanced.
Mm.
So we have to add kind of layers of complexity to the game to make sure it's fun as well as challenging for
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a tough balance there. So give me an example of something you added in to maybe add some complexity. What did you do to make it a little more challenging?
Okay, so maybe, sorry, I could step back to explain you a bit the background, the mechanics of the game
Sure,
first.
sure.
Yeah, okay. So what the game is, so the students gather around during the school day, gather at the auditorium, and it's transformed into like a simulated mall, basically. And they the whole marketplace activity is split into 3 sections. So first part, they get a briefing about what they're here for and the instructions of how to play the game. And this part, we show them a little animated video, basically about the background story, introduce them to a boy. His name is Aiden, and his 3 sidekicks, which we designed to be shaped like these Japanese sweets mochis that represent spending, saving, and sharing. So
Okay.
they're told what their task is. They have this birthday party, they have the plan that's coming up, and they have $500 that their parents gave them, and so they have to go to the mall and to prepare for their birthday party. And then once they're there at the mall, they actually encounter this promotional events where if they achieve 3 missions and earn the 3 badges, they could win a prize. So the 3 missions are to purchase everything that's on their shopping list. So they need to buy at least one item from each category of birthday present, food, birthday cake, as well as party decorations. And then the second mission is to go and open the bank account, open the bank savings account to put, kind of extra money they have
Okay.
left. And then a third mission is they have to complete a transaction log. So they practice filling in, keeping track of their expenses. So there are 3 main missions, and then off they go. And then before they start playing, we have something I think that's quite interesting called the window shopping phase. And it's a tool we use to kind of teach kids and let them experience for themselves impulse control and research planning. Because during that period of time, they are free to roam around and look around at all the different booths that are set up. But the shops are not open yet. They cannot play, they cannot do anything, spend money or anything. So they learn to, rather than just take the money and go spend it, they learn to plan, take a look around at what kind of different discounts there are, different methods of payment. Some shops accept cash only. In this game, they could use cash, the octopus card, as well as FPS, which is like a electronic payment platform for instant transfer digitally. That's linked to your bank account. So they could take this time to walk around and do some planning to make sure they have enough cash to spend at the birthday cake shop, which only takes cash. So to make sure they could accomplish the mission and earn the badge. So that's kind of the background and the setup for the game.
Oh, it sounds like so much fun. I want to play. So,
Yeah.
how many kids have been through this program now?
I think so. We just finished the first year, and then we have next year is going to be a 2-year program. So far about 5,000 kids, and then after next year will be about 10,000 students in over 50 schools,
Okay.
as well as we have over 500 parents participating because we ask parents to be volunteers in this game, which is very valuable because they get to kind of observe without influencing their kids, how their kids spend money, what their attitudes and behaviors are when they're on their own.
Yeah. And what do the volunteers do?
So they help to man the booths. So we have the different shops, like a cake shop, a gift shop, some food stands. So they help to be the salesperson.
Okay.
Their role is actually, so we give the parents a briefing as well at the start of each game, and we tell them, today you're not parents. You're the top sales of your store. So you want to convince the kids to spend as much money as possible. And just tell them to highlight all the discounts and all the buy one get one free, and so attract them to spend more money. So, and they also at the end of the game get a debriefing session where we kind of do like a little sharing to hear their feedback about the game as well.
Yeah. And so, generally speaking, how well do the kids do?
I I think they do pretty well.
I mean, do they hit their objectives right through those three, right? How many, what percentage of them get all three objectives?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think most of the kids actually do pretty well, and I would say over 80% of the students earn at least 3 badges. But here, I just want to point out that we do have some hidden missions within the game.
Mhm.
So there are actually additional badges that the students can get. One of them is a charity booth, where it's a charity for an animal shelter to help homeless cats and dogs and pets, and the kids just love those. So we want them to kind of discover through gameplay this hidden mission, kind of to let them experience giving organically, rather than being told to,
Yep.
to give as a mission. And so a lot of the kids earn all 3 badges in addition to this 4th one as well.
Okay. What about sharing? You mentioned that you want kids to also realize that they can share. So they
Yeah.
try to save,
Yes.
share, and give, right?
Yes. So at this charity booth, so the students have the choice to either donate money or donate their time, which is through volunteering. And we have some little tasks, like a little Lego set with a little dog or cat where they could put it together,
Mm,
or a little puzzle they just have to put together in the shape of a house to kind of simulate volunteering work to putting together a shelter for the animals. So they learn through this process that sharing is not just money, but also could be time. And then at the end, if they participate, we have this big plastic tube right in front of the booth, and a little plastic ball where they could put one into the tube, so that collectively, if enough students put it in, it will fill to the top. So visually, they kind of see that even though your contribution seems like very little, but if everybody lends a hand, it's actually very powerful, and we could fulfill a goal together collectively. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that so aligns too with the guest I just recorded with previously, who's from Crossroads Foundation.
Okay.
But yes, we each can make a small contribution, but the collective collaboration can have incredible power
Right.
and effect.
Right.
Yeah. So that's awesome. So you got all these kids. How long does the game take to play?
So the whole activity is about 2 hours long. We spend about 30 minutes for the briefing part. We really try to keep that not short and not too long, because it will be hard for the kids to focus, and they want to,
Yeah.
to start moving around. That's why we created like a short animation to help with the instructions and the introduction.
Okay.
And then we do a little budgeting exercise where we tell them, so now you have $500. Try to think about how much you want to allocate to spending it, how much you want to allocate to saving, and that's through opening a bank account at the mall. And they're kind of told that the minimum balance is $50. So they learn to set aside at least $50. And that's kind of realistic, because in real life, some banks have a minimum balance
Yep.
requirement. So we put that in, and then set aside some money that if you want to share. And then after this budgeting exercise, we do like 5 to 10 minutes of the window shopping phase. And then right after that would be about 45 minutes where they just, free to play, run around, spend money. And then at the end, they come back and we have about 30 to 40 minutes of a debriefing. So to help the students reflect on their experience and try to connect what they've saw and heard and experienced that day to their everyday lives, so that we hope they can actually apply it when they go home and tell their parents about it, and try to apply some of the tools that they've used in the game into their actual everyday life.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. Are there any kind of like special awards for, the kid who finished first, or, the kid who saved the most or donated the most, or anything like that? Honorable mentions?
We don't have that kind of first or top winner prize, because actually we want to emphasize there's kind of no winning or losing. You can earn the badges, but it's okay. I think one of the things we try to incorporate into this game is productive failure, because actually there are kids who don't earn all 3 badges, and the reason is because of the cash only store, and some of the kids actually spend all the cash and don't have enough to buy the birthday cake, which is required for
Right.
the spending badge. And so it's a good way for them to, I think, within a safe environment to learn, and so that when real life they don't kind of make the same kind
Right,
of
right.
mistakes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, failure is a better teacher than almost anything else. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. As always, we'll take a quick commercial break so I can do my plug for the Human Intelligence Movement, HI movement, as they call it. Again, this is not a paid advertisement. I'm just a fan. The mission of the Human Intelligence Movement is to ensure that students have the skills to thrive and succeed in an AI world. This is so important. I hope you will join. There's a link in the show notes, so check that out, the Human Intelligence Movement. Now, back to my conversation with Priscilla as we look ahead to future development and some of the projects for additional fun and engaging learning experiences. We're also going to talk a bit about what she learned from watching the kids play Marketplace Money Dash.
So the mechanics of the opening a bank account. So you
Yes.
have, a booth to do this. I remember in our conversation when we met with Fred and we were talking about this.
Yeah.
Fred, I think, actually volunteered at some point, right? He was
He did.
like the bank teller, right?
Yes. Yes. He was
So
helping out at the bank booth. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, well, So part of what we were talking about, right, was that, banks can be frustrating to deal with, right? So do
Mhm.
we give kids some of these kind of, I wouldn't call them tricks or traps, but these challenges, right? Where if they mistime it, they go to the bank, they're stuck in a line now, right? Waiting to open their account because they should have been smart and gone first, but they
Yeah.
waited. Does that happen in this kind of simulation?
Yes, well, time management definitely does play a role in this game. Well, the bank booth is one place because you definitely have to visit the booth in order to fulfill one of the missions to earn the badge.
Right.
And so they definitely have to manage their time wisely. Another place is actually I haven't mentioned yet is there's a game booth in the game as well. So there's like beanbag toss as well as a game where they kind of try to pick up these plastic toy diamonds with the chopsticks within the time limit. So these are very fun, colorful games that the students are very attracted to. And obviously, they're not included as part of the mission. So a lot of the kids choose to go and play the games, and it's very popular. So there's always a long line there. If they manage their time wisely, they could still manage to earn all the badges as well as play the games. Because if they win 3 times at the game booth, they actually earn a prize from the customer service center where they actually get, in this case, a real physical present. Because everything else is simulated, all the products they buy. We have these nice little product menus where they could choose and pay for things, but they're not real. But
Mm.
at the game booth, if they win, they actually can earn these cute little pencils or erasers. So that's very attractive for the kids.
Yeah.
So, but definitely it takes away some money and takes away their time.
Right, right. Yeah. So you created a natural distraction for them. So they have to have the willpower to stay on task, even though they'd like to just go play the game and try to earn a prize. Yeah. Awesome. So who's benefiting the most from this, right? So you got CoCoon, you got Jockey Club, you have, you know, the schools involved, you have parents involved. Obviously, there's kids, but I guess who's kind of the main stakeholder now in keeping this program going and running it ongoing?
Well, at least for our part, in terms of the marketplace activity, we've designed it in a way so that, well, we designed it with sustainability in mind. And by that, I mean, we make sure the gameplay and all the props and everything that use actually comes together nicely in a little kit that we give to the schools afterwards so that teachers can run it independently themselves the next year or the year
Oh,
following.
nice. Okay.
So to make sure they could keep running this activity to go along with the curriculum.
Yeah. So help me understand the physical setup then. So you're kind of simulating this mall environment. So these
Yeah.
are just, I mean, booths or whatever, right? What's involved in the setup and the materials required for a school to do this on
Yeah.
their own?
Yeah. So we have some of my colleagues in the team were former teachers themselves. So they know very well, what teachers look for. And it's basically, we try to give them as little work as possible and as little hassle as possible. So what we really need from the school is just some tables and some chairs, basically. And we bring the props to all the marketplaces we run. It's just, we have some poles where we could set up and attach to the tables where we hang the product signs and set up all the booths. We have some small props at the tables with the store names, the bank signs, for example. So it takes, I think, less than 30 minutes for us to set up when we arrive at the school, and I think less than 30 minutes to kind of clean up afterwards. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, no, you guys have kind of thought of everything there. And
Yeah.
so response from the teachers, are the teachers pleased with the way the kids, behave and what they learn from this, the comments they hear afterwards? How much feedback are you getting from teachers?
Yeah, generally we get some positive feedback from the teachers. Some of the comments they make, for example, are in the classroom, they could teach the students this knowledge, but they don't get to see them really apply it
Mm.
in, an environment like a marketplace. So I think they're really happy to see that the kids really kind of making good decisions because of what they've learned in class. And some of them were actually, I think, even beyond their expectations, because you have some kids actually asking about interest rates at the bank, which they haven't really taught. So yeah, I
Nice.
think teachers
Yeah.
really like, and what they like is that we it's pretty comprehensive, this game. So we pack a lot of the key learnings and the lessons into one game. And I think without overwhelming the kids, because kids from fourth to sixth grade can all play it at their own pace and at their levels and still have takeaways from it.
Yeah. Now, is financial literacy actually part of Hong Kong curriculum in primary school?
Okay, this part I need to double check on this part.
Okay. 'Cause I was say,
Yeah,
growing up,
so
we didn't learn financial literacy in school ever. I mean,
yeah.
it was never covered, in US call it K through 12. Yeah, nobody was teaching us about saving, budgeting, planning, spending. It was never discussed in school. Our
Hmm.
parents taught us this stuff.
Yeah.
So no, it's great. Actually, I love the fact that somebody's taking this initiative to try and do this and give these kids the kind of foundational skills in this. So tell me how it plays into the broader kind of objective of CoCoon Foundation, which is entrepreneurship. So do you guys try to kind of build on this as you do entrepreneurial programs later as the kids get older?
So at CoCoon Foundation, we teach entrepreneurship based on this European entrepreneurship competence framework, short for EntreComp. We call it EntreComp. And just for teaching and learning purposes, we've actually paired each of the 15 competencies in the framework to a cute animal. And one of those competency is financial literacy and economic literacy. So financial literacy is an important part of entrepreneurship skills and knowledge. And definitely, we want to expand to beyond just primary school and incorporate it into some of the other programs who reach out to the high school students, even young adults. And in the programs where we teach about design thinking and even career readiness or self-discovery, I think financial literacy is also a very important component of that. So for sure, I think we would want to build on top of what we've done with the primary school students in the marketplace program to the other programs as well.
Yeah, no, it's great. There's been a lot of talk also about, so AI is impacting everything, and of course it's having a great impact on education as well. But one of my guests recently was really talking about entrepreneurship as one of the kind of strategic things that schools can be doing, because we don't know what the job market is going to look like. But if you're 10, 11, 12 now, you're talking 8 years maybe before you hit the marketplace, and we just don't know, right? What's going to happen because of AI and what kind of jobs are going to be out there. But entrepreneurship is one of those kind of resiliency things. If you've
Yes.
got entrepreneurship skills and bravery, right?
Mhm.
Confidence to go and try and do and not be afraid to fail. These kind of things are going to be skills that certainly are going to help with whatever the dynamic is, and a probably a rapidly changing labor market, over the next 5 to 10 years. So it's good. I love
Yeah.
what you guys are
Yeah,
doing.
definitely
And
agree. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, these are just life skills anyway. I mean, financial literacy is so important, and then you add the entrepreneurship on it. It's really all good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me a fun story about something that you've you've witnessed with these kids? What's something kids have done that surprised you in the marketplace that was just kind of fun or funny? Any kind of stories like that?
Yeah, I think there's one kind of something that we've witnessed in almost all the marketplaces we've been to is the kids, there's always somebody who drops their money because it's, kids being kids. So
Yeah,
without fail, there's always somebody dropping their money. And it's a good way, for them to learn, in real life, you have to be more careful with your belongings.
right. And this is
And
virtual money. This is fake money
yeah,
or
it's,
whatever,
it's
right?
a
Yeah,
game,
yeah,
it's game money. Yeah,
yeah.
but and another interesting fact that we learned is, so in the marketplace, we set up a booth for the students who finish early, like a little voting booth for them to pick, what their favorite method of payment actually was between cash, the Octopus card, and the FPS. And I think at 90% of the schools, the students actually chose cash as their favorite. And we think it's because these days, a lot of them use digital payments or just Octopus card,
Right.
and they really actually enjoy the physical touch of money and being able to count it. And they feel like I think they feel more ownership when they're actually holding money and spending it in the game.
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting finding. Yeah.
Yeah. So for our audience who may not be familiar with the Octopus card, it's a digital payment system, right? So it's like a debit card. You put some value in there and then you tap it on stuff for transportation or in convenience stores, or in this case, in the marketplace, and it automatically deducts. And when it's empty, you can't tap it anymore, right?
Yeah.
It runs
Yeah.
out of money and you got to put more money into the system. So how do you do that kind of mechanically for these kids? Do they get to decide? So they got $500, they get to, or they need to decide up front how much they want in cash, how much they want to allocate to an octopus, or then they go open the bank account so they can do FPS. Is that?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So the way we've designed is the kids start out with $400 in cash, and then they have $100 in the octopus card, which is in their little booklet that they carry around for the game.
Okay.
And so every time if they spend octopus, we actually just deduct it from the $100, which is actually a good way for them to visualize that, there's
Yeah.
actually a credit limit in your card. It's not unlimited money,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
kind of what happens in real life because their parents would either refill their card or they just ask their parents and they don't feel the pain of spending money. And in order to use FPS, they have to go and open the bank account first and put money in.
Mm.
And they cannot spend, they have to at least leave a minimum balance of $50. So they cannot overspend more than that if they
Right.
want to use FPS. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm curious, do most of the kids like go in and they put $100 into the bank account so they can spend 50 on FPS? Would that be kind of a typical way the kids operate?
Well, it's interesting. Actually, there's no typical way for the kids to do it. Some just put the minimum $50 required in order to earn the badge. Some put more in, like over $200 or more into the bank because they see the benefits of putting it in the bank. So you don't have to carry physical money around, which you can drop. You don't have to count and wait for the change. So there are those kids who kind of think ahead that way. So
Yeah.
it's really different. It's across different kids. Yeah.
Okay. So technically, well, I know you also said that there's kind of an accounting thing where they, have to keep track, right? So how do like the vendors keep track? So if I show up, with my octopus and technically it's already empty, how does the vendor know that my octopus is empty?
Right. So in their octopus card in the booklet, every time they spend, we'll just deduct, let's say you spend $40. So we did deduct 40 and we'll write in $60 as the balance. So we could see how much is left on the card. Same way with the bank account and FPS. There's one other component is
So they're
every
actually
time,
they're handing like a ledger to the
yes,
vendor. Okay.
yes,
All
yes,
right.
exactly.
Yeah.
In addition, every time they spend and buy something at a shop, the vendor would write a receipt into their booklet
Right.
for their purchase. So
Right.
that serves kind of as a proof of purchase. That's how we know that they've actually completed the mission by buying at least one item from each category. It helps us to keep track logistically, but also it's a good reminder for kids. We teach them, actually you should keep your receipts because they
Yeah.
serve as proof of purchase. And if you need to refund or anything, that's what receipts are for. So there's also that
Right.
game, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. How many times do you find kids going back and returning something and saying, "Oh, I bought this, but now I don't have enough money to get the cake, right? So I need to return
Yeah.
something."
Yeah, we've definitely seen that, but we just say, sorry, there's no refund for our store. So just so
Oh,
it's but we want them to remember it. So in real life, it doesn't happen in real life. So yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay. What other interesting, maybe surprises? So something you guys either never thought you would do and ended up doing based on like observation of the way the kids play, or something that just came out of like watching the kids play and you went, oh, the kids are asking for this, or wanting to do something that we didn't build into the experience. What kind of stuff happened, you know, like once you'd already launched? What other new ideas popped up?
Mm, I think I would go back again to the bank, opening bank accounts for, I think mostly because it's the first year we're trying this game. So we try to keep things a bit simpler and we didn't incorporate the concept of interest rates into the bank.
Mm.
But, you know, the kids these days, some of them are quite advanced and they're asking us, so, what happens if I open a bank account and put money in, do I get interest rates? And well, we would tell them, yes, you do, but interest rates depends on how long you put it in the bank, and we're only here for one day, so sorry, you won't be able to see interest today. But I think definitely we want to incorporate that. I think that's an opportunity to incorporate a little bit more complexity into the game.
Mhm.
And one way we've thought about doing it is, and we've actually tried this at one of the iterations at a school that we tried it on initially, is we have these little quizzes that the kids can take, and each question they get correctly, it kind of simulates the speed up of time. Fast forward to 1 year, so you earn 1 year's interest if you answer a quiz
Right.
question correctly. So, but it got too complicated and too much explanation required, and because given the limit of time we have, but we can think more about it and how to make it work. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. And so I assume the kids enjoy this. This is like a special event for them to get to play this game. And how important is that the kids are having fun and really wanting to earn those badges?
Yeah, I think some of the feedback that we get from students is just very encouraging because they do have fun. A lot of the feedback that we get, we ask them what was fun about the game, what did you enjoy most? A lot of it was being able to spend money, make their own decisions on spending money. Some of them were surprising for me. They actually like opening the part where they go and open a bank account, even though it seems like such a simple act for us, because that's something they've never experienced in real life. And
Hmm.
usually as children, you don't really experience. So for them getting to do it on their own, I guess it makes them feel, like grown up. So we get some feedback that they like the bank booth. And a lot of them say they love the charity part because they love giving to the animals. I think cats and dogs and pets, it's actually very popular. We've learned that it's very popular
Yeah,
with the kids.
it's great.
Of course, a lot of them would say they like the game booth, but that's because, it's
Yeah.
naturally fun. Yeah.
You're working for CoCoon still, right?
Yeah.
So the Jockey
Yeah.
Club project is kind of in flight. It's now in, I'll call it operational mode, right? The teachers
Yeah.
are empowered. They can do it kind of on their own. I'm sure you're
Mhm.
still introducing it to more teachers, but the game is kind of done, right? It's
Mhm.
out there.
Mhm.
Are you
Mhm.
designing a new experience, a new kind of game, or any other new initiatives you're working on or would like
Can
to be
you
working on?
Yeah. So actually now I'm focused a bit more on AI and digital innovation for CoCoon Foundation. Just thinking about how to leverage technology in three areas. One is to enhance the learning experience, how we could make, the work that we do or the content that we make more interactive or allow for more creativity in the content, maybe increase the personalization in the materials. And it's for the students or for the teachers that we work with and even internally. Two is to help use technology to help streamline our workflows, just to think of a way where AI, for example, can help with saving some time and some cost, for example, in video production or image, those kind of areas. And then lastly, just think about how we can use technology to scale the foundation's impact in a sustainable way.
Yeah. Oh, well, that sounds right up your alley with your experience from MIT, and you obviously have strong technical skills. Are you enjoying that aspect working with AI?
Yeah, it's definitely something I've been always been interested in, and it's just really keeping me busy because things are changing so fast. AI is evolving so quickly. It's always something new coming out every week and a lot to learn, but it's definitely a very
Yeah,
fun process. Yeah.
great. So
Yeah.
are you doing like PD for professional development for teachers and how to use AI and leverage it? Is that part of what you're working on?
Currently, in terms of PD for teachers, we teach them entrepreneurship thinking and design thinking, but we're exploring how we could leverage AI or incorporate AI into some of the material or the curriculum, whether into the curriculum or as a tool to help teachers when they design their lessons. But we're still trying to figure that out. But I think what's most important and what we always try to keep in mind is just to really listen to the teachers and understand what they really want and what they really need,
Mm,
and see how we could work together and use technology together in that way. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. All right. Anything else you want to share? Anything you were hoping we would talk about that I didn't ask you about?
No, I think that's about it. Yeah. For
All right. Well,
yeah.
I really appreciate you taking the time. I know it's a Sunday here in Hong Kong, and there you are sitting in the office to do this with me today. So I really appreciate you doing
Uh,
that.
my
Yeah.
pleasure. Thanks for having me.
I want to thank Priscilla for her bravery in doing this podcast. I know this was not in her comfort zone, and I pressured her to come on the show and share her story. But I did it because the story really demonstrates that these kinds of learning experiences um, can be engaging and uh, and they can be developed to also be effective learning experiences. So making learning fun and effective is not easy. And Priscilla has shown us, just a wonderful example of, game-based learning tied to real learning objectives, this curriculum with 10 lessons in it. And she's also shown us this is truly a community effort, right? There was the NGOs and the corporates and universities and parent volunteers and teachers all involved in this at a local level. So wonderful community effort here. Season 4 is just getting started, and we have so many more awesome guests lined up with amazing stories of innovation and education. So I don't want you to miss anything. Please subscribe, like, and share. Really appreciate your support. I'm Eric Byron. Thanks for listening to the Education Innovators podcast. To all those education innovators out there, keep doing what you're doing. Be fearless. You are making a difference.